This is Kara from Lady Kara Tarot with something special today. I'm doing my deck interview with the Magical Nature Tarot. This tarot deck I discovered through my friend Kim at Abundant Life Tarot. She said this was one of her most used decks of last year, and as I said in another video, that this is my last purchase of the year, last year. And it has a incredible guidebook with it. It's very readable if you just want to pick it up and read with it. But the guidebook really talks about how the art was created. All of the colors were created from natural elements, like steeping flowers and barks. And also many of the images, like you can sort of tell in this image, are metal cutouts. So it has all of these elemental aspects to the artwork, which are just incredible. It also feels wonderful. It's one of those, it's sort of a pebbly textured finish, but still smooth. Just a wonderful feeling deck, and then the imagery is incredible. So since I'm going to do a deck interview, I'll do what I often do, which is I will lay out my deck interview, read it as a deck interview, and then I will also go through and read it as a general reading for Saturday, January 10th, 2026. This will be my one of two readings I did for this day. And I thought I can kind of talk about what I look for in a deck interview. I mentioned recently that I did a deck interview and that the cards told me, they just confirmed that it was not the deck for me, and I passed it on. And so I'll see. So before I get started, I'll say I'm doing the Celtic Cross. The Celtic Cross was the first spread I learned when I was in elementary school. So it kind of comes to me like breathing. In this final row, different people use different meanings for the positions, and I just have the meanings that I have used. So I look for the deck to identify itself, usually with the significator, the first card. And you just saw me cut the deck, and I had been shuffling it before I even started. I look for the deck not only there, but in that position to identify itself and how it's going to be with me. I look for the deck to talk about its kind of tone, and so that I can kind of see its tone and what kind of readings it will be good for. I definitely look for the deck to identify me with several of the cards that I consider significators for me. And then in certain placements. And it's one of them is in the crossing card, is usually where I look for that. So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Okay. Oh, I'm going to have to bump this out. Okay, so right there, that's a card that I usually look for to identify me. The Nine of Pentacles was my main card for last year, and the way that I thought of myself last year. So that's a confirmation for me. Interesting. On this deck, the courts are renamed and reordered. They are the Seeker, that's the page, the Apprentice is the Knight, the Mentor is the King, and the King is the Queen is the Ancestor. So I have 2 queens here. I consider that to be very good right off the bat. The queens in this deck tend to be a sort of the image of a queen blended with nature. So it becomes bigger than just one individual. Like here you can sort of see the body of the queen forming the mountains. Here you have this almost fiery queen blending in with the earth and sky, kind of combining the earth and sky. So we'll get back to that. So we start with the Hierophant. Now, I have said to you recently, I don't have all of the negative associations that a lot of people have with this card. I'm a teacher, and it is considered to be the teacher's card. And then I heard this wonderful phrase in another tarot guidebook that said, leadership requires mutual respect. And that's really how I feel about being a teacher and the Hierophant. This Hierophant is kind of more universal in not having a face. Some of the people in this deck have faces, but then some of them are more kind of the Amish no facial features idea. Crossed by the Sun, interesting. Okay, so what I get from this is where I look for the deck to identify itself. So this deck is a teacher. This deck is going to lead me into more traditional ways, which it will, with the earth elements being used in the paints. There are definitely things that and flower elements. It goes into how different elements were used to create the paint and what kind of colors they create and what they stand for. So that's great. For me to be identified as a sun by this deck is certainly very positive, and that's the other thing I look for, is just indications that we have that the deck, oh boy, now we get into anthropomorphizing, that the deck thinks of me positively. Okay. Okay, or this spirit that works with us together thinks of me positively, my guardian angels, etc. So underneath this, behind this, is the Seven of Wands. Now that's a great conflict, of course, but this is a conflict which is, I consider the things beneath to be things that are contained or in the past. But I actually do have a core conflict with this deck. It's this, the elements of the structure of the court cards in this guidebook and in the intention of the deck are references to witchcraft. And you all know I'm not witchy. So that would be a baseline conflict that we have, and yet I don't feel that it's a conflict because I just simply won't work with that. I won't work with that aspect of the deck intention. It's I still like this confluence of nature, and there's so many other things that we have in common to work with. Behind us, the Two of Wands. Getting prepared, and certainly a lot of other things have prepared me for work with this deck. You'll probably see my dog's nose coming into the picture a lot. She's very clingy with me this evening for some reason. Um, the Two of Wands, and here we have the Two of Wands meditating on both the act of creation, a flame, and the world. Or vision, a flame and vision. Both of those would be true for why I read. Above us, or our highest instincts, is the star, hope, light, the ability to blend day and night. Some would see this as the subconscious and the higher conscious. I'm going to have to think about this one for a while, the conflict. This often can be conflict with a worthy adversary, but we're already not adversaries, so I'm not sure where that comes in. The Apprentice of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles, my favorite knight, which means that we would, working together, I see this as a card that tells us, one of the cards that tells us how we'll work together, is that moving forward together, it will be slow. It will be a thoughtful, deliberative process. Each of us having capabilities that the other will discover over time before really diving in fully together. And that's a great place to be with a deck. As I said, the Nine of Pentacles, I see this as a wonderful recognition of me. It has been the card that I have, at least I think I've told you, the 7, 8, and 9 of Pentacles are cards that I always look for in a deck to see how I think about how the deck represents things, and that card is a representative of me in the best way. I think the Nine of Pentacles is about appreciation and appreciating what you have and using it fully. The Ace of a lot of Pentacles here. We have a lot of Earth, which is good for me because I'm a Virgo. The Ace of Pentacles, of course, is about a new venture, possibly a material, or I think in this case, an earthly venture. Simply by reading about the elements used in creating the paints and creating the artwork, it will broaden my knowledge of earth elements. The Ancestor of Pentacles. Now, and this is what I consider to be my hopes and fears. So if this is me, I consider this placement and to be hopes and fears. And certainly that's hopes. That's hopeful. This I consider to be, this is what other people think. Other people think about, this is the Queen of Pentacles, but the Queen as the highest in the suit. So this is about mastery and obviously blending the earthly and the sky, the spiritual. The moon is here, so we have the intuitive. So blending the earthly and the intuitive. And oh my goodness, if people did think that way about me, wouldn't that be flattering? And then the Queen of Wands. This is ultimately how we are together, is how I see this, and the potential outcome for us together. And this is, the Queen of Wands is again, one of my significators. I've said before, I used to think of myself as the Queen of Cups, and I much more think of myself as the Queen of Wands now. The Queen of Wands, being known for being very loyal, a good friend, very creative, very much an individual who does things her own way, and One of the books that I like says, you would really want her to be your friend, but you wouldn't want to be her, and that makes me laugh because I think I think that's true. Um, so okay, there we are with the reading for my deck interview. So to me, this is an incredibly positive deck interview. It's layered because we do have this in here, and we have that, and these are both, I consider these both to be kind of the past or basis things, places that we're coming from as opposed to places that we're going to. Oh, sorry. So now I'm going to take a step back, regroup, and now we're going to talk about this as today's general reading. Okay, so this is also acts as a show me how you practice, and also as does the question matter, which of course we all know it does. Those were 2 hashtags. Okay, so we're starting off with, this is a day of learning, a day of teaching, a day of learning, a day of passing on information. I see this as, this is the moon in his hand. So, and this is either the earth or the sun or kind of a globe, as it were. So this is a celestial leadership, a celestial learning, a spiritual self that is going to be integral in today. Working against that now, what crosses that is the sun. Well, that's not much of a cross. The sun is everything good. It's happiness. Even the darkest interpretations of the sun are still good. So much the better. So whatever your spiritual leading is today, your learning and what you're imparting, those are going to be really good. That will not be without conflict. This actually is coming sort of in response to a baseline conflict that's been going on with someone who is very much your equal in terms of your abilities and your ideas, and it's been a very equal battle. You are capable of winning this battle, but it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be a long haul. Behind this is a decision that this is already passed. You've made a decision recently. And again, I'll point out that this was about fire, of spirit, and of earth, and an impassioned reading here. And notice that this figure appears to almost be sitting in a pool of water. The legs kind of form this watery pool. And so we have fire and earth and water and more fire. And we have air encapsulated in these vines. So we really have all 4 elements involved in this decision that's already taken place. And that may be what has led to this conflict. But you're very much at peace with the decision that you've made. Above you, your highest consciousness, kind of crowning your thoughts about this, is hope, is an understanding that there are brighter things, there are deeper and brighter ways to be in the world, and trying to align yourself with that. But you're not just jumping in willy-nilly. You are inspecting the things around you. You're not just going to walk through the arch. You're going to appreciate the arch, and you're going to take stock of the landscape that you're walking into. So while you're leading yourself in all the right ways, you're very at peace with where you're going, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be foolish now and just dive right in. You're going to take stock, and you're going to make sure everything is prepared before you step forward. When you do step forward, you're going to step forward with a sense of appreciation for what you have, a sense of the sweetness in your life. And potentially that you want to be able to share that with others. Your fears is that this is stepping out. This is very much a beginning. Your fear is that it is, while it could be very sunny, that there are dark hills. There may be difficulties involved in setting out. It has great potential, and you know that, but usually with great potential comes a lot of work. And so that's just kind of your fear, that generalized attitude that you're kind of like, oh, it's going to be a lot of work to do what I want to do, and there are potential pitfalls. The Queen, the ancestor of Pentacles, here again, as I mentioned before, it has this, you are at one with your environment, whether that is nature or whether it's your friends and your community, you're at one with them and you're resting in them and in a good way. And that you are, this is the way people think of you. People think of you as working with them. Now, all of a sudden, I just saw like a little, a witch or a seer here at the top of the mountain, shining a little light and reading a book. We have intuitive knowledge going on here, but then we also have intellectual knowledge. And of course, this mastery of your earthly talents, your whatever you have to offer to whatever organization or thing that you're involved in. And then the Queen of Wands caps your reading for today. And in terms of, she is there as a fire that you will be inspiring to others. You will be seen as leading others in a way that is highly individual, and expect people to say she's on fire because they see all of this groundedness, this, you're at peace with this, you're being led by this inner light, you've taken into account the things, and you're infused with this sense of appreciation and community, and you're clear-eyed about what's going to be going on. And all of those things just make people say, she is on fire, which means also that people will want to come alongside you and work with you, although you may be up and above and in front of the rest. This may be something that you are doing some leadership on, and that's okay because you're ready and you're on fire. So that is your reading for today. Let's look at the majors that we have. We have the Sun, the Hierophant, the Star. So the Sun, the Star, very positive cards. The Hierophant is about this leadership, which is where we ended up. We began with leadership and ended up with leadership. Expect to be leading some things today, either mentally, in terms of passion, expect to be leading. I would also say to notice that you have 3 court cards. And I often would say that 3 court cards mean they're going to be 3 people involved. Or if not actually 3, that at least other people will be involved in this, which we've already discussed. Leadership requires that you have other people there. And remember that phrase that I started with, leadership requires mutual respect. And I have no doubt from you seeing all of these things in here that even with this person you have disagreement with, you have mutual respect going on. And it's a lovely thing to have going. And finally, I'm going to pull an oracle card to go with this. I'm going to use the Carte Divinatoire d'Agarel as an oracle card to add to this today. If you've seen me use these before, these are one of the most esoteric oracle decks that I have. And I think, interestingly, although these are watercolor images, I think they're going to work very well with this deck. And I, as I said, I think of this deck as being quite esoteric because the figures can be kind of like these. They may not be distinct or linear. I think this deck wants to be shuffled and cut. Okay. Anthropomorphizing. Yes, I am anthropomorphizing. Someone asked me what I'm feeling when I'm doing that, and usually I'm looking for either a sense of heat, or in this case, the first time through, that center stack gave me more heat than the others, but it was kind of similar to this one, and the second time through, it gave me a tingle. So here we are. Wheat, which of course speaks to a great fertility. And this is actually the card of work, success, family, home, job offer, professional comfort, and harvest. And so as such, it really unifies these, but it also reinforces what I was saying about the success up there. But it definitely unifies this, all of the things we associate with the harvest and appreciation of the Nine of Pentacles, and then the success of the Queen, the ancestor of Wands. So there we go. I hope that reading has meaning for you today. I hope you appreciated seeing it both as a deck interview and as a general reading. Sometimes the second time through, especially with a new deck, I see things in the card that I didn't see the first time. And those are certainly things that I will think about when I revisit and think about my deck interview as well. But in this case, I'm very positive either way. This is Cara from Lady Cara Tarot. Have a day filled with thoughtful, appreciative, respectful leadership.